experience with winter your first time at winter camp. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about some information, some key facts about merit badge registration, our dining hall, and then just operations of the camp. At the end of our presentation, we're going to have some time for questions. This is a great opportunity for you to ask any questions you have, and for us to answer some of those questions for you. To introduce myself, my name is Vincent Malone. I am the event director for the 2025 Winter Camp. Also on this call, who'll be speaking this evening is Pam Michikowski, who is our office manager at the council office. Many of you have dealt with Pam with all your registration questions. And Pam also oversees our trading post at Winter Camp. And Melissa Bartholomew, who is our program assistant at the council office, but will be serving as our dining hall manager for Winter Camp. And then Bill Gibler, who is our Vice President of Communications and Programs, is also on the call. He is our staff advisor for this event. So I'm going to pass it over to Melissa to talk a little bit about, actually, I'll talk about some key dates and then I'll pass it over to Melissa. Some key dates to highlight. First is on this coming up Monday, November 18th, is registration for merit badges open at 6 p.m. I know in the past we've had a noon registration time, but we moved it to 6 p.m. based on feedback from previous years. But this is the time for you to register your scouts for their merit badges. Please note that 50% of all registration fees must be paid in order to register your scouts for merit badges. On December 1st will be the last day to drop any open spots and get a refund. After that date, we will not be giving refunds for open spots. On December 13th will be the last day you can make requests for housing. As we have started last year for the 2024 winter camp, we are assigning campsites for those who are tent camping. In years past, it was kind of a free-for-all, and we took that feedback and are doing housing assignments. If you have a particular camping area you would like, please make sure you are emailing me those requests. But on December 15th, the week of December 15th, I'll be emailing those assignments out to your units. And I thank you for the units who are on this call right now who have already contacted me about housing requests. On December the 20th will be our last, we ask that your registration must be paid in full on that date. And then on January 7th, 2025 at 5 p.m., so the close of business of the council office, will be the last day to make any registration changes and merit badge changes. So that is a great opportunity for us. Melissa put my email address on there. Last day to make those registration changes. That's simply when merit badges, especially our instructors, plan for a certain amount of scouts. And we need to get those numbers to our instructors so they make sure they have packets for their scouts, as well as making sure they have the materials ready for the scouts to have a positive and effective teaching experience. Then I'm going to pass it over to Melissa, who's going to talk about our dining hall.
All right, so we are going to be doing shift meals again. So you'll be either split into shifts 1, 2, or 3. And you're going to have a different color wristband based on whatever meal you're going to be assigned. These will be assigned and given to you when you check in. You'll receive your wristband and we'll know the final details for sure on what your mealtime is. We are going to be doing all meals cafeteria style, so you guys will come through the lines, and seating is not assigned for those. If you have a dietary restriction, it is going to be key for you guys to know this information. You will want to enter the dining hall. If you're facing the serving line, you're going to want to use those right-hand doors and just let us know your name and that you have a dietary restriction, and they will make sure that we get that plate to you specifically. All dietary restrictions need to be written to and communicated to me by the 2nd of January. This allows me to make sure that I have the appropriate things pre-planned for you guys for dietary restrictions. You're going to make sure you guys clean up the tables and throw any trash away after you have eaten, and just make sure that the area is wiped down so that the next group of people don't walk into a mess. Um, and they'll start releasing based on um, tables, and you'll be able to get into lines for that. We do need some assistance with helping with serving and maintaining order in the dining hall. And then on Monday, this is going to be really super key for you guys. If your unit is not staying on Monday, I do need to know by January 2nd so that I'm not preparing food for 1,000 people and only 400 people are there. It helps reduce the amount of waste that we have produced, or that we will produce, and it will definitely help make sure it's a more pleasurable experience for everybody.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Now I'm going to pass over to Pam, who's going to talk about our merit badge record keeping, registration, as well as our trading post.
I'm not muted. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for, again, just want to reiterate what Vince said. Thanks for joining us this evening. And I want to talk about merit badge registration and then the distributing of the merit badge reports at the end of camp. Merit badge registration opens next Monday, November 18th at 6 p.m. That is a time change from previous years. We are opening merit badge registration at 6 p.m. We had a lot of feedback that noon or 9 a.m. in the morning were just not convenient for a lot of our unit leaders because of work or other commitments. So we're going to move it to 6 p.m. Monday, November 18th, merit badges will open. As Vince also said, you need to have 50% of your payment of the fees in place in order to register your scouts for merit badges. We've had a steady stream of payments coming into the office over the last couple of days. If for some reason you will be late or will be having difficulty getting that payment to us by the deadline, please give us a call. As always, or as you did for the registration process, you will use that same login and that same reservation number to register for the merit badges for your scouts. We'll also be using the Black Pug system to track the winter camp merit badges. If you want, if you're a unit that still prefers blue cards, you can still use the blue cards, but we will still document everything electronically in Black Pug for backup support. Units, you'll be able to access the report of the merit badges. There is, I believe it may still be there from last year. If not, I'll make sure it is there. But we have a tutorial on how to access the blue card reports after the camp. And so those will be always available to you. And about a week after camp, we will be sending everybody a PDF file of the report, and it will go to the registration contact. Last year we did this same thing, and it went to the registration contact, and that was not communicated to other leaders in the unit. So just to let you guys know, if you're the leader participating, the registration contact will receive the PDF file of the merit badge summary after the event. So just like last year, we are doing pre-orders for the t-shirts, the hoodies, and the long sleeve shirts for winter camp. As you know, we will keep a limited quantity of styles and sizes in the trading post, but if you utilize the website for winter camp, the orders will be taken, and you won't be charged for shipping because it will ship directly to us at council, and you'll be able to pick up those orders in the trading post during camp. This gives you a wider selection of colors and styles to choose from. We will have, again, a limited quantity of styles and sizes in the trading post, but if you remember from last year, they sold out pretty fast, and sizes were, again, also limited, so we had gone through them. But this is your way that you can order exactly what you want and have it there for you waiting at winter camp.
Okay,
So
so
you going to talk about this, Vince?
I am.
All
Yep,
right.
perfect. Okay, so first, so merit badges. So Pam has talked about registration of merit badges. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the merit badge classes. So the merit badge guide is currently posted on the bradysaunders.net/wintercamp. That site is going to be used to post any information about winter camp. So that currently has our emergency procedures, a link to the ordering online for the t-shirts and hoodies, the prerequisite guide, the merit badge guide. But we're going to be using that site to put any documents that we are distributing to leaders. So that is a great resource for you to have. So bradysaunders.net/wintercamp. Please note that we are still making little tweaks to the merit badge guide. There are some new instructors coming out, and there are some instructors who are changing. So we are continuing to tweak it a little bit. Make sure when your scouts come to their merit badges that they have their prerequisites ready to turn in or present. The biggest concern I get from merit badge counselors every year is about prerequisites, that scouts are not reading the prerequisites, they're not doing the prerequisites. So we encourage you to, make sure your scouts are going through and getting their prerequisites done. Um, for all the instructors, they have been told that any requirements they cannot do at camp should be a prerequisite, because the goal is that all scouts should be able to, if they do the prerequisites and attend the class, to receive and earn the merit badge they are enrolled in. That requires the prerequisites to be done. I am still working with instructors right now. As you probably tell, we're still recruiting and working with, getting the schedule together. But the finalized prerequisite guide will be posted December 1st. It's currently on right now, but no changes will be made after December 1st for the prerequisite guide. I've had some new instructors come through last week. I've been trying to add it, but we are working to finalize that for December 1st. Please note with our classes, we are offering at any time in between 30 to 60 classes at a time. So some classes are going to be held in buildings. Some classes are going to be held in event tents. So just make sure your scouts are prepared for the winter weather for those. But the nice part is locations will be printed on the scouts' schedules, which you will receive a copy of every one of your scouts' schedule in your check-in packet. But the locations will be both on the Brady Saunders side as well as the Cub Adventure side. All meals will be served in the Cub Adventure dining hall. Our administration building will be the Cub Adventure administration building, but classes are spread between both properties. The biggest thing, since we are using Black Pug for registration, no walk-ins. I know in the past at winter camp, you've had a scout who decides, okay, I'm going to take leather work this morning instead of, pioneering. No walk-ins are allowed. We must have the scout in the roster. We're going to be requiring that if you have any changes, you have to make those merit badge changes. If you are having any last minute after January 7th, that you bring those changes with you to check-in. At check-in, we will have a station for any merit badge changes, and those are last minute emergency changes. So we are not allowing any walk-ins this year because we've got to keep our records, straight for this camp, especially us switching from a blue card method to a electronic roster. The electronic roster program does help us a lot because we knew in the past scouts have lost blue cards. By having this electronic roster, we are able to keep these records for the scouts. And we've had leaders and scouts call us and call the office many times asking for the records. So that's why we use the electronic method. So check-in procedures. Um, Check-in will begin at 5 o'clock on the Friday night, January 17th. If you are coming out early, now some units like to come out early because they would like to set up their campsite before it's dark, or scouts are not going to be able to arrive until 7 o'clock because of school. You must let me know if you are arriving before 5 p.m. so I can let the reservation staff as well as my staff know that troops are coming in. We ask that troops do not come in any earlier than 9 a.m. on Friday morning to set up. That's just to make sure that we have staff there to greet. But please note that official check-in will not start until 5 p.m. that evening. Even if your troop comes and sets up early, we will not be giving out checkout packets or doing any of our check-in procedures until 5 p.m. that night. Vehicles must be parked in the parking lot. That has been a major issue in the past. Last year, we had a major issue of vehicles being lined all the way down the Douglas Fleet area and being parked in campsites or being parked in random places in camp. Vehicles must be parked in a designated parking lot area. Now, we do know that some people need vehicles closer to their campsite due to medical or mobility issues. If you have those leaders that need those vehicle passes due to mobility or health reasons, those requests need to be made to me before camp so we are able to give those parking passes. Any vehicle that is not having a parking pass will be, asked to be moved. By parking on the side of the road, our shuttles are not able to get through. Our staff who deal with emergencies or our quartermasters are unable to get through if vehicles are not parked in the proper places. At check-in, you must have a final roster of the scouts and leaders who will be at camp. And we need to know who have not been shown up. We keep strict records of those because just in case a parent calls us and said, hey, is Johnny at camp? We are able to say, okay, we know who is here on our property. Medical forms are required for all scouts and adults who are at camp. Must be part A and part B. So that is every part but the physical by a medical professional. But we encourage you, if you have part A, B, and C, great. Please, turn those in and you'll show those at check-in. Vehicles will be then given a pass to go back and drop off supplies in your camping area. Scouts cannot be riding those vehicles. We ask the scouts to walk into camp, but supplies are transported to the campsite. All vehicles must be out of camp by 10 p.m. on Friday night, and no vehicles will be allowed back into camp until Sunday afternoon, unless you have the special parking and vehicle pass. We have scouts. We have about 1,000 participants for this event, plus about 150 staff members who will be walking. And we have a lot of vehicles going through camp. It makes it harder for us to walk and interact with one another. So I'm going to go through the schedule. I will note that some of the parts of the schedule are still in development right now. We are still working on tweaking some parts of it. But every activity that's on the schedule will be happening. We're just tweaking a little bit of the time, especially our meal time, to make sure we get our meal times set and our merit badges set to have enough time for our scouts to go from meals to their merit badge classes. So as I mentioned before, check-in will start at 5 o'clock and it'll go until 8:30 in the Cub Dining Hall. At 9:15, we will have a leaders meeting. That meeting will go over some of the stuff I've discussed tonight, but more about any changes and anything that is more prevalent to being actually at the event. On Saturday, we're going to be doing 3 meal shifts. If your scout is taking cooking merit badge, they will not eat in the dining hall on the day they are doing the classroom setting of cooking. When they're doing the hiking setting, they will eat breakfast in the dining hall, and then we'll go to the hiking portion. But if they are assigned to the portion of the classroom, they will be making all their meals with their cooking merit badge on that day. So we'll do 3 meal shifts in the morning, do a flag ceremony between meal shift 1 and 2, 3. Oh, no, sorry, 2 and 3. We'll be having shuttles running throughout the camp. We ask that leaders do not transport their scouts, that their scouts either walk or use one of our camp-approved shuttles. That limits the vehicles that are on the road so scouts can go to their classes. Then we will take about a 2-hour break for lunch. So troops who are cooking, that's your time to cook your meals. For troops that are eating the dining hall, we'll be having those meal shifts just like our breakfast time. During that time as well, we'll be having a senior patrol leader scoutmaster meeting. That opportunity is for us to talk to you, talk about any changes or address any concerns. This year, we will be having 2 camp commissioners who will be going around and checking in on campsites. They're not going to be doing camp inspections like a summer camp commissioner, but more doing that, discussion with you and kind of checking in on you throughout the weekend. Then we will do our dinner starting about 5:15, and then on Saturday night we'll be having our troop cook-off. That was something we started last year and it was a great success. You can cook whatever you would like for the cook-off. Our judges love to eat whatever you cook. It must be edible. That's the only rule for the cook-off. It must be edible. And then we will have our campfire on Saturday night. Sunday morning, we'll start the day with our chapel service, do merit badges throughout the day, and then at night, we'll be doing a movie night. And then Monday morning, we'll just do 1 merit badge block in the morning, and then we'll do checkout starting at noon. If your troop is checking out early, as Melissa mentioned before, and you have a meal plan, please let Melissa know. But please also let us know if you do not have a meal plan and you're checking out so we know who will be on site on Monday morning. Housing. As I mentioned before, if you are tent camping, we will be assigning you a camping site. It'll either be in our Douglas Fleet area, which if you come into the reservation and you turn left going towards Brady Saunders side, it'll be the front wooded area. And then some will be camped over at the Cup campsite in kind of our field areas around our fort as well as our yurt area. But please note that the last day to make those housing requests are December 13th, and we try our hardest to accommodate all those tent camping requests. If you have rental housing, so that means heated housing such as a cabin, a yurt, or a mountain cabin, we will not be assigning your troop to multiple different housing throughout the camp. We try and keep your unit together just so you have your youth protection and proper supervision. And we will be also sending those assignments on the week of December 15th. We try our hardest. If you say that you reserved a mountain cabin, we try our hardest to put you in a mountain cabin, but do understand that we will be if you paid for heated housing, we make sure that you're in heated housing, but we may not be the housing you requested originally. Program, I mentioned it a little bit, but Scoutmaster Senior Patrol Leader meeting on Friday night, campfire, as well as the chess tournament on Saturday, Sunday morning chapel, Sunday night movie night, as well as game night. If you've been to winter camp before, we would have game night on Friday night. That never works out. We like Friday night to be a time for you to set up your camp, check on your scouts, make sure your scouts know what direction they're going in the next morning. So we're leaving that Friday night for the Senior Patrol Leader Scoutmaster meeting and an opportunity for you to, get your scouts ready for the next 2 days. As you see from our schedule, winter camp is a jam-packed weekend. So it's a great opportunity for Friday night just to unwind and get yourself prepared for the next 2 days. Preparing for winter camp. Some of you have been to winter camp for many years. Some of you, this is your first time. And these are recommendations given to me from years of being on staff, as well as just from leaders who have spoken. Remind your scouts of the buddy system. The buddy system is important. Reminding those scouts that we need to be staying. So the daily schedules are not posted yet. So we'll be posting once we have finalized the daily schedule. We will be posting them on the Brady Saunders website. So first, reminding scouts of the buddy system. Scouts should be going with a buddy to their merit badge classes and throughout the camp. Review the Scouters Code of Conduct. There are 1,000 people coming to this event. There are scouts from different troops. We need to be respectful to one another. So encourage your scouts, go over, the Scouters Code of Conduct before you come. Conduct a training session or refresher on cold weather camping. Making sure scouts have the proper equipment. We've had scouts who have shown up to winter camp with short sleeves and a pair of shorts in 30-degree weather. Make sure your scouts are prepared for winter weather. We have had temperatures ranging from below freezing to temperatures as high as 70 degrees. My first year as program director, we had a tornado watch the first night. And then the next day we went 36 hours without going above freezing. The weather is weird at winter camp. So be prepared and knowing what the weather is. Review the schedule with your scouts and merit badge schedule, and we'll be posting those daily schedules as soon as possible. But the merit badge schedule as well, making sure your scouts know where they're going to their merit badge classes and what classes they are assigned to. This is especially important because for some of our Eagle required merit badges, we'll be offering 2 different sections of the merit badges, especially our citizenship badges, our personal fitness and personal management merit badge. We'll be offering multiple sessions of it. So making sure your scouts know if they're in session A or session B. And making sure scouts know which day they're taking their merit badges. So many times scouts have come to the administration building telling us, I'm registered for, sign signals and codes. And it's a Saturday and it's only offered on a Sunday. So making sure your scouts know where they're going. And we will be having staff helping to guide scouts as well. Cannot stress this enough. Have scouts complete and bring any prerequisite work. We are a completely volunteer staff. Every single person, including myself, is a volunteer for this event. And they are taking their time to make sure this event runs. And many of them, make sure those prerequisites are done. Making sure those prerequisites and your scouts are prepared for their merit badge classes. I mentioned before, Part A and Part B medical forms need to be turned in. If a scout does not have a medical form, we're unable to allow them, or a leader, we're unable to have them on property. So they need to have a medical form. And, speaking with the dining hall about dietary restrictions, Melissa mentioned at the beginning that make sure we know those dietary restrictions by January 2nd. Yeah, so Melissa can plan proper dietary meals for them. And we want to make sure we accommodate to all our scouts' dietary needs. So please let Melissa know by January 2nd. I stress that a lot because we've had people call us the day before or a week before, and it's hard for us to plan for those dietary restrictions if we're not aware of those. And food is one of the most important things at any event. And that's why I come to winter camp every year, is for the food. So Monday morning, you probably have seen with the merit badge schedule, there's not a lot of Monday morning merit badges. If you are interested, you have a leader who's willing to teach a merit badge on Monday morning, please have them contact me. That is one thing we are always looking for, is Monday merit badges. I get a lot of people who volunteer for Saturdays, Sunday pretty much, but Monday is really hard to fill. So we ask that leaders, if you are willing to teach a merit badge, or you may have a leader who's able to come out for the morning on Monday to teach a merit badge, we could definitely use help with the Monday merit badges. Yeah. So this is the time now to ask any questions. This is all of our contact information. as Melissa has put in the chat already, but as well, Black Pug or Merit Badge Registration Assistant, Pam or Melissa. Food service dietary restrictions, Melissa. Event questions, myself, or Bill Gibler, who is our Vice President of Program and Communications. So any questions?
Hey, this is Edgar in Farmville. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. Pam, I sent you an email today because I didn't think I was going to be able to sign on, but I thought I would go ahead and ask it in the event it's helpful for others. And if I need to talk with you individually, that's fine. Did I miss something on the registration link?
So this is one of the things that everybody needs to know. We actually fell victim to that a little bit too when the communication went out with the link to this meeting. You need to make sure that you're looking for your registration confirmation, the communications we're going to send right out of Black Pug, because it has it has the registration contact. And if you notice this year, we also asked for who the leader on site is going to be, because sometimes those two people aren't the same individuals. So we asked for that information, and we can send them information as well, because sometimes everything doesn't get communicated either between the registration contact and the leader that's going to be at camp that weekend. But you need to be looking for emails coming from Scouting 24/7. We had that issue today where the emails came out and they ended up in people's junk files. So you have to be looking for those emails, and that's where your registration link was that in that confirmation email from them. So that may be why you missed it. But we can
Okay,
resend.
I'll reach out to you directly. Yeah, if you could go ahead and send that to me, but I thought I would ask for the group as well.
Yeah, we can resend that. So just like in Edgar's situation, if you did miss that registration, or you don't have a direct, you don't know your login account and email to, or your login to get it into Black Pug to see all your registrations, contact us. We can either resend you the link to the registration, or we can set up your reset up your login as well into Black Pug. There is one thing I do want to stress for everybody, and I can't remember if Vincent hit on this early on, but it is really important that everyone drops any open spaces by December 1st. As you all know, we sold out relatively quickly this year, and we do have a little bit of a wait list. We also will have some shifting of spots. We always have this when Merit Badge registration opens. Some units drop and some units need more spots. We will prioritize the units that need the spots first, and give that to them. But we are asking that everybody make sure that their roster is scoured and taken care of. That by December 1st, if you are holding any open spots and you're not going to be using them, please drop them by December 1st. Because after that, there will be no refund for those spots, because you're paying the 50% on your registration fees at this time to register your scouts. And that includes any open spots. So if you don't drop those spots, if you drop those spots after December 1st, we're not going to refund that, because those are spots that a waitlisted unit or units that are already registered could use for a scout that they may have gotten last minute. So we really need people to make sure that their rosters get cleaned up by December 1st. And if you have any questions on how to remove open spots or need assistance with that, give us a call.
This is Thomas Lee. One, thank you for all you do. This is my first year, and this is a lot going on. So you guys put in a lot of effort, and I really appreciate it. I'll be adult leader on site, and our boys are going to be in one of the yurts. So for my tent camping and also the other adult leader that will be with me, what is the process, I guess? Do we just reach out to Is it Vincent? I'm sorry. I copied the names down before, but
Yes. So you would contact me, and then what we've done in the past with units that have had the scouts in the yurt is we had the leaders camp in tents right outside the yurt, right by the yurts.
okay. Thank you. Just wanted to double check. That was it. Thanks.
Any other questions?
I have one, Vincent, Leslie Straw. Just to make sure I understand, the prerequisite guide as it stands now is solid, but we need to be verifying it after December 1st to make sure it's once it's solidified. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. And once we solidify it, we'll be sending out an email with that updated prerequisite guide, just so that you have a copy of that finalized guide.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Mike Byers. And just a quick question. Should the ability to drop or change registrations be open right now? Because I don't see it on Black Pug.
Yeah, there's a way to do that, Mike. Give us a call and we can help. So
I've done it before. I don't see it open right now.
yeah, right now we've taken that off because we have a very full. We've actually suspended registration.
Got it. No worries. I'll call you, Pam.
Yeah, because we've gotten so full and we still had units logging on. And right now we already have 14 units on the wait list. Any more, I mean, it's even questionable how many of them we're going to get in. So it just didn't seem, we wanted to control when spots opened and who got them and where they went in an organized fashion. And we can't do that when we keep it open right now at this point. So that's why it's been suspended. So if you need any help with any of that, give us a call.
Any other questions?
Vincent, will there be cinnamon rolls?
Hopefully, I'm looking forward to the center. I don't know the menu, but there will be.
I bet there's some place you could find out what the menu is.
I could, yes. But yes, there will be.
So for any of you guys who are interested, if you go onto that Brady Saunders Winter Camp page, there's some forms and documents. The menu is subject to change just in case, the vendors run out of things and I have to swap things out. But it does have an example menu pretty much set of what's going to be served during winter camp.
If there are no cinnamon rolls, there'll be a riot.
There are going to be cinnamon rolls. I promise you. I've already talked to the vendor, and I have to pre-order a ton of them ahead of time so that they make sure they have them for us.
I just won't be there if it's not cinnamon rolls.
All right. Well, that says that we have to have the rolls, Melissa. We just have to make it happen no matter what. Hey, this is Bill Givler. I just want to thank everyone who's on the call, who's bringing their scouts out to camp. This is a huge event for us, and it's been a huge success over the years. We couldn't do this without you, and all the adult volunteers and your troops who step up to be merit badge counselors. I just want to thank everyone. Also, a huge shout out to Vincent, who has been driving this ship for a few years now and is doing a great job. Thanks for all you do, Vincent, to make this event a success.
So there's no more questions. I think there's no more. Feel free to contact us with any questions you have. I know sometimes when I've gone off of a call, I've thought about some questions I have. Please ask us these questions. Reach out to Pam, Melissa, myself, Bill, with any questions you have. We want to be able to answer those questions for you so that when you come to the event, you know your information. And we're going to continue to keep in communication with you about assignments, about any changes that we're making from our standpoint. But my biggest thing when you're coming to this event is that you know what you're getting yourself into. You know what this event is. So please feel free to reach out to us for any questions you have. Please know we are working to finalize the schedule and making those adjustments that we need. But the Leader's Guide is a great resource as well. We put a lot of information in that Leader's Guide to answer a lot of questions about housing, about the weekend itself. So I encourage you, to make sure your parents and your units are, see that Leader's Guide and making sure your scouts know what merit badges are being offered for the weekend. And we thank you for coming. This is one of our great events that we offer in the Heart of Virginia Council, and it's a favorite one. And we have many of you who are Heart of Virginia members and many of you who are out of council who have come to our event. So we thank you for coming. If there's no other questions, we're going to end this meeting. Thank you.
And again, tomorrow we'll send this video out for everybody, to everybody who's on it tonight, and then to those who were unable to join us. And we also will include the slide presentation that Vincent shared with us this evening as well. And again, thank you everybody for coming, and good night.
Thank you. Good night.